Sha'Carri Richardson, Noah Lyles cruise in 100 heats at Worlds. Tokyo. America's two big-name sprinters, Sha'Carri Richardson and Noah Lyles, both walked off the track Saturday with reason to think they might have found what's been missing over a less-than-perfect 2025. What a place to find it! At the World Championships in Tokyo, a metropolis that has been waiting 4 years for a chance to cheer on the world's fastest stars. Both defending world champions won their preliminary heats in the 100 meters. Those results should surprise nobody, but they still brought bursts of joy, both from the runners and from the loud sellout crowd that was absent 4 years ago, when Japan National Stadium was the centerpiece of an Olympics held during the COVID-19 pandemic. Last one, I could hear my own thoughts echoing off the wall, Lyles said of the Tokyo Games. So completely different. Lyles won his heat in 9.95 seconds, the same time posted by Jamaica's Kishane Thompson, who ran hard for only about the first 60 meters of his race. Lyles beat Thompson by .005 seconds at the Paris Olympics last year, and though the American comes in as an underdog this time, he feels he unlocked something in practice over the past week. I was tightening my muscles, and every time I tighten my muscles, my stride gets shorter, and that's why I wasn't getting the results I wanted, said Lyles, who still hasn't cracked 9.9 this year. He loosened up and suddenly he said, "It's working." Richardson has been in even rougher shape, slowed by an injury for most of the year. She was slow out of the starting block Saturday, a typical problem of hers, but when she gets things into top gear, still elite. Her winning time of 11.03 seconds was her best of the year. Not great by any means, but trending upward. "I know that this year is not what I ideally saw as being my golden year," she said. "But when I think of golden now, I think of buried treasure, and sometimes you've got to dig through the dirt to get to the gold." The semifinals and finals for both 100s are set for Sunday, with all the top contenders, including U.S. champ Melissa Jefferson Wooden, Olympic champ Julian Alfred, Lyles' frenemy Kenny Bednarik, and Jamaica's Oblique Seville, still in the mix. It wasn't just the footsteps or the cheers. It was the weight of years. Years of doubt. Years of training. Years of questions answered in seconds. The World Championships were not merely a gathering of the world's fastest. They were the arena where identities were sharpened, where greatness either bloomed or burned under the floodlights. And on that late summer evening in Budapest, the track shimmered like a runway made for gods. Sha'Carri, a flame rekindled. Sha'Carri Richardson stood on the starting blocks like a flame poised to catch wind. Her orange-tipped braids were pulled back today, sleek, contained, deliberate. Gone was the fiery chaos of past interviews, the brash posturing, the heavy armor of a misunderstood rebel. In its place stood something far more dangerous, a woman who had nothing left to prove, except to herself. She closed her eyes for a second, letting the crowd's noise melt away. Inside there was silence. Not peace, necessarily, but a stillness. She thought of the months spent in exile from the sport she loved, the memes, the think pieces, the judgment, the conversations about what it meant to be a black woman in America who didn't apologize for being loud, or vulnerable, or brilliant. Then came the second act, a resurrection. Her body was leaner now, her mind sharper, and in her heart was a simple mantra: let them watch. The gun cracked, and like a whip in the dark, she was gone. Every step of the 100 meters was pure poetry, fluid, fast, and fearless. Not the panic scrabble of someone trying to prove she belonged. No, this was grace under velocity. She wasn't just qualifying, she was declaring. She cruised past the finish line, with a sly smile on her lips. She didn't even look back. No need. The time was enough. The eyes of the world, from pundits to former doubters, were already fixed on her. And Sha'Carri, she was just getting started. Noah, the architect of swagger. Noah Lyles walked out like he'd just stepped off a catwalk in Milan. Gold chain bouncing with every stride. Sleeves tight over muscles that spoke of years of grinding. He didn't just carry confidence. He dripped it. But underneath that swagger wasn't arrogance. It was intention. Noah wasn't just chasing medals. He was rewriting legacies. In his mind, Usain Bolt's shadow wasn't a monument. It was a challenge. The 200 meters was his kingdom. Everyone knew that. But this year, he had decided the 100 meters was no longer off limits. If the short sprint was a crown jewel, then he was here to polish it, and maybe even steal it. As he walked to the blocks, he cracked a smile at the camera. "Let's have some fun," he mouthed. He got down, settled his feet, felt the buzz of the track beneath him. The gun popped and Noah exploded, but not recklessly. Like Sha'Carri, he didn't burn every match. The heat was about making a statement, not chasing records. He coasted into the lead within the first 60 meters, and then eased through the last 40, like a man jogging toward his destiny. He knew eyes were on him, curious eyes, doubting eyes. Lyles in the 100? Really? Yes, really. As he crossed the line with room to spare, he pointed toward the stands. "I'm here," his body said, "and I'm ready." The pulse of the moment. Back in the warm-up area, both sprinters passed each other, not quite brushing shoulders, but close enough to exchange a glance. Sha'Carri gave him a little smirk. Noah grinned, tilted his head. "Easy money, huh?" She shrugged. "They still sleeping." He chuckled. "We'll wake him up." In that unspoken moment between two titans of the track, there was a shared fire. They weren't teammates, technically. Sprinting is lonely business. But there was a kinship forged in the crucible of pressure and performance. They weren't just running. They were reintroducing themselves. To the sport. To the media. To history. Outside the lines, echoes around the world. In a small bar in Kingston, Jamaica, a group of old sprinters watched the replays, nodding slowly. "She's back," one murmured, watching Sha'Carri stride. "And Lyles, he's got that fire in the 100 now," another added, sipping his beer. Bold spirit watching that one. In Paris, a 13-year-old girl named Amina rewound the clip of Sha'Carri's race for the 4th time. She mimicked the start, the drive phase, the smooth transition. Her eyes were wide, not with fandom, but recognition. "If she can do it," she whispered to herself, "so can I." In Tokyo, in Nairobi, in Atlanta, in Lagos, the ripple spread. The world didn't just watch. The world felt it. The calm before the storm. Later that evening, in the hotel lounge, Sha'Carri sat alone for a moment. No cameras, no press. Just her, a cup of ginger tea, and the soft jazz playing overhead. She scrolled through a few tweets, some praise, some skepticism. She smiled, not out of malice, but clarity. It wasn't about silencing anyone anymore. It was about outrunning the noise.